Hey, welcome back again to the Unbiased Biased Review. Today, I felt like I was do a review. Again, tons of videos on these types of tools and everything else. But today, I'm going to be talking about the good old multi-tool, oscillating tool, whichever one you want to call it. So this is the Milwaukee M18 regular. I've got the Milwaukee M12 fuel. And I've got the Milwaukee M18 fuel. So the two newer Milwaukee fuel oscillating tools, as well as the old M18 oscillating tool. Again, this isn't an unboxing. This isn't your test whatever type of thing with it. This is just a review of the tool from using them for some time now. Oscillating tools are great. Work basically any single carpenter or anything. Most guys in the trades, they're going to have some sort of tool of this brand. And again, the name of my channel, slight bias, is I'm a Team Red, Team Milwaukee. Even though it may not be 100% the best or whatever's out there, it's what a lot of my money's gone into. And I do buy a few other brand tools and everything, but I'm more selective on it, especially when it comes to battery operated, since I have quite a few batteries around and in my truck and everything else. So it's primarily what I kind of stick with. Again, if you guys want to make suggestions on some tools of other brands and stuff, I can try out some of those as well to give a review. I'd probably do like maybe a video of getting it, and the next video of mine probably wouldn't be for a few months almost down the road from it, because I want to have a good handle of it. I don't want to just be like, oh, just took it out, cut one piece of wood, whatever it might be, whatever tool, put one nail in and give you guys a review of it and be like, yeah, it's great or it's terrible. Like to give a little bit of time, real world experiences on the tools before I actually give you a review on it. So let's see. First, the regular M18 oscillating tool. Works great. Never had any issues with it. Variable speed on it. Pretty much never use it. Just set on 12 max power all the time. I haven't used this one in a while since I got the new fuels, the M12 and the M18, and I think I'll discuss those a little bit more. I don't remember what like the oscillations on this are or any difference in that. I think primarily on this video I'm going to be talking about the newest ones. Still a great tool. I would still recommend it. It's definitely a cheaper alternative. That's one reason took me so long to buy the new fuel M18, was just the price of it. But they did have all of a sudden a sale, good sale with like an extra battery or something else on it. So I ended up buying it. So, but again, I would still use this if I didn't have the other one. To me, it worked great. 5 amp hour battery, plenty of runtime and everything on it. Worked great. Now we'll move into the M12 fuel oscillating tool. Never got into the regular M12. I don't have a ton of M12 tools. I have a handful of them. Primarily I'm an M18 type of stuff, but again, price was kind of the factor on this one when I first bought it, because it was cheaper than the M18 fuel, and I couldn't justify spending so much money on that one when I had the regular M18. So this, compared to the regular M18 oscillating tool, I would recommend this one. If you have M12 batteries as maybe a primary battery source, the M12s compared to an M18, if you have only a handful of the M18 batteries and stuff and a lot of M12s, I would highly recommend this. I did prefer this over my regular M18. It did cut better and everything. Just some specs on it and stuff. It's the same basically as the M18 fuel with some of this stuff. Varies from 10,000 to 20,000 oscillations per minute and a 3.9 degree cutting angle. So again, I don't remember what the regular M18 one was. This one worked great. My biggest complaint about it, I would say, is it just drains batteries. I would use the, what do I got here, 6.0 battery, and still, if you're using it a little bit, cutting through a couple pieces of wood or whatever it might be, yeah, it just did not seem like it lasted too long, 10-15 minutes or something. and like it would be done. I'd have to change out a battery, you know, if you're having to use it a lot on a bunch of different things. So yeah, that I would say is my biggest complaint about it. Again, compared to the regular M12, never owned it. Didn't really hear too many good reviews on the regular M12. I know some other people have had it and it broke and everything else shortly after buying it. But again, that could happen with any product. It could, you know, they could have just had some lemons of them or something. But I never got into the regular M12 one. But the M8 or the M12 fuel, I would recommend if you have more of the batteries. And then now the M18 fuel. This is the one I have in my truck. The one I'll use primarily. Again, it too, just like the M12, 10,000 to 20,000 oscillations per minute. This one a little bit bigger cutting angle. I think it was said it was 4.2. Do I see much of a difference between the M12 and the M18 when using and cutting? Personally, I don't. That's just in the real world. You know, it's not like no competition, not putting them up head to head once against each other. Oh, M18 cut, you know, 1/10 of a second faster than the M12. You have to spend the, you know, $100 extra or whatever for the M18. Like, I wouldn't worry about that. Who in the world is full bore, constant on everything, every single drill, drive, cutting thing? No, you're not. You're not. Just use what's comfortable, what you like, battery brand you're used to, whatever it might be. I'm not going to say, oh, because this brand cut, you know, oh, the Milwaukee one cut, again, 1/10 of a second, let's say, faster than some other brand did. Who knows? Who knows why it did that? Next time you'd run the same test, the Milwaukee could win. Or it could lose. Who knows? You know, most of the tools that are out there that are professional brand tools, DeWalt, Milwaukee, Makita, Bosch, Flex now that's out, they're all so similar for the most part. Again, and who knows too, yeah, you're using the same blade. Manufacturing could be off on that too. Could cause an issue. So some of the tests that are out there, videos that you see, you can watch them, but I wouldn't take it to heart being like, oh, that beat my brand and now I have to switch and all that other stuff. Don't worry about it. Don't get starting into another battery platform and then you'll be stuck with, you know, let's say you bought the M12 and you're like, oh, it comes with one battery. This is going to be my tool because, you know, it beat out all the other M12s or whatever, even though this is the only Milwaukee tool then that I have. You're going to be draining through batteries like through this, constantly having to have it on the charger. You're going to be mad at yourself, kicking yourself. So just stick with whatever brand that you have and that you would like. But again, for this review and everything, I do very much enjoy the M18 fuel. I have just started using the auto feature where it starts slow and ramps all the way up. Didn't like it at first. It was kind of weird. I don't know if it's just like a mindset thing of hearing it going slow and then speeding up and everything. It was just kind of funky. But after a little while, you get used to it. But yeah, I mean, I think the batteries last longer than this, than an M12 again. The M12 trying to pump out basically same numbers as the M18. Very impressive. I know there's been other reviews, other channels that have tested the M12 fuel versus other like 18 volt platforms, 20 volt platforms, and the M12 did pretty good. I mean, can beat out quite a few of them. But again, I would recommend the M18. Batteries last longer, especially if you have a bunch of the M18 batteries. You know, if you can afford it, switch, go up to that. You know, if you have a lot of M18s compared to buying the M12. But a good, you know, alternative again, if you don't want to spend the extra money on the fuel, you can always go with the original, the regular M18. You could do that if you have a lot of the M18 batteries. That's just kind of my take on it, on the Milwaukee oscillating tools. If you have plenty of M12s, just kind of review a summary here. If you have plenty of the M12 batteries and you're not using it, let's say daily and a ton and everything else, the M12 will work great. It'll be perfect for you. It's a little bit smaller in size and everything, which is nice to get in some areas. But again, the batteries is my biggest issue with it. You'll be going through them a lot faster compared to like even the M18, the regular. That one seemed to last longer. Obviously, they're bigger batteries and everything else. But again, the output of the M12, great. I prefer it over the regular M18. But again, the regular M18 will last you longer if you're trying to put it on like a 5 amp hour battery, even an 8 amp or whatever, which would be kind of heavy, but it can last you a bit longer than the M12 fuel. The M18 fuel, that's my go-to. Again, that's what I use quite often, using it at least once a week, twice a week, usually. Some jobs a lot more. Some jobs you don't need it. Again, depends on what you do for a trade and everything else and how often you'll be using it. But in these three, if you can afford it, and you have the batteries and everything else, and you're already on the platform, I would recommend the Milwaukee M18 fuel. So that's kind of just my take. That's my unbiased bias review. Again, slightly biased because I'm a Milwaukee guy. So that's why my review is on the Milwaukee tools here. But again, leave some comments, maybe some other tools or brands that you might like to see. I'm going to try to be more regular with this. I can't guarantee, once a week, whatever it might be, because again, I like to use tools for a while before I just give out a review and what I say about it. Maybe I'll try getting into some tests and other things like that. Again, I know there's a lot of channels out there that do tests and everything. There's some that are really good. I like the way that they do them, some of the tests, but there's still some factors, and I don't know how I would perform it out. People doing drop tests on certain tools, or I'm hanging a 5-pound weight off, but okay, but what's the overall weight of the tool itself? Well, you just told me this tool weighs ½ ounce less than this tool weighs ½ ounce more. Well, yeah, you stick a 5-pound weight on, well, the one is still more than the other. Gravity affecting it differently. How it can cut through things. So maybe we'll see if I get into that, but I doubt it. I just like to give my honest review of the tools that I have used for some time. Leave comments, leave what you might want to see. Like I said, I'll try to get in a little bit more regular. I don't know what I'll do next. Maybe it'll be a surprise. We'll see. Well, that's my take, and we'll see you in the next one on the next biased, unbiased review.